Welcome to Sharing Tea with Dr. C, a podcast where women come together to sip, share, and discuss all things marriage. Join us as we dive into the heart of relationships. We're here to unpack it all in a safe and supportive space. So take a deep breath. Relax. And let's brew some wisdom together. This is Sharing Tea with Dr. C.
Good morning, friends. How are you? Are you tired this morning? Come on now. Share some tea with me, Dr. C, and you'll spruce right up, okay? Because we've got an exciting topic just for you, especially for the single ladies. So please share this link with all your single friends, and please ask them to subscribe. Listen, I have been thinking about this topic. So before we begin, let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Lord, please help our single friends to find just the right man, and help us old married folk to be supportive. Amen. Our topic today is help. How do I find a boyfriend? Some single ladies tell me, you know what, Dr. C? Yeah, it would be nice to find a husband, or as it says in the Bible, for him to find me. But you know what? Can I just have a boyfriend right now? You know, I am so sorry it's so hard. Well, where should you look? Okay, just to name a few. Volunteer, especially at church. Take a class on a college campus, not online. Get a hobby. Visit museums, art galleries. Go to sporting events, lots of sporting events. Go to free events. Join a co-ed book club. Ask your friends to introduce you to someone at work, and then dating apps. But before we start seriously looking, be sure you know who you are and your self-worth. Understand that no one is perfect. And look for attributes that you want in your man, but you may need to cut that list down just a little bit, okay? I know some single ladies whose list is this long. Well, come on now. There are some things you might want to cut off. All right, set tangible boundaries. Work on yourself, inside and out. You want him to have an A rating credit history? Well, what about your credit history? And be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone else when meeting these men, because sooner or later, your true self will come out. Now, let's look at a few places where you might possibly find a boyfriend or even a prospective husband. Your workplace. Now, dating a coworker can have its risk, but it could work out. Let's look very carefully at the risks though, okay? Don't ignore your company's policy for dating coworkers. An office romance could certainly damage your reputation or make others question your professionalism. If dating your superior or you're promoted over someone else, people may assume favoritism. What happens if there's a conflict of interest regarding the work issues between you two? And what happens if you break up and you still must work close together? Well, if you decide to date a coworker, please set real clear boundaries. This is work, and then this is on a date, all right? Now, if you work at home and not in an office environment, then you're going to need to explore other places that I mentioned, like church, volunteer, please. Go to free events, co-ed book clubs, sporting events, take a class on a college campus, visit museums, art galleries, get a hobby. Remember I said volunteer at church? Also, get involved in the singles ministry. Start up conversations with the brothers. Sometimes they're just a little shy, so it's not a time for you to be shy. I also mentioned get your friends to introduce you to some eligible bachelors. Now, dating apps. Well, you know, I have mixed feelings about those. A friend of mine once was on 5 dating apps at one time. Yes, 5. I mean, she went on a lot of coffee dates and she found no one. Guess where she met her husband? Right at church. And I am happy to say they have been happily married for 10 years. Then there are other women who've been very successful and met their husband online. So, you know, I don't know. All I know is please be cautious. Meet them in public and start with just coffee. You know, it's easier to end the conversation when you're finished with coffee rather than a whole meal. Take it slow and ask a lot of questions. Well, you should be doing that no matter how you meet them. And is he really who he says he is? Have you ever seen those shows, those documentaries where men con these women out of stuff? Yeah, you know, I'm very suspicious. So, you know, be careful. How did I meet my husband? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. I met him through my hobby. In college, my last year, I founded a black drama troupe. And Reggie, my husband, was the founder, director, and actor in his own troupe for about 3 or 4 years before we met in Rochester, New York. When I got a job after my college graduation, I was working at the public broadcasting station in Rochester, and I was producing my own show. I wanted his troupe to do some scenes for my show. Voila! I mean, you know, we had a ball. We just celebrated and, you know, we laughed and yeah, we started out with coffee and then, you know, we had to work out the scenes, of course. So we met over dinner and it was just a delightful way to begin. And I think we met more than we really needed to, but boy, was it fun. So you see, hobbies do pay off. Well, it's time to go, ladies. I'm sorry. But you know what? Before I do, let me just leave you with 3 takeaways. Number 1, get involved. Don't isolate yourself. thinking you're going to meet someone, and you're certainly not going to just meet them, and get to know them over Zoom all the time. All right? Number 2, be realistic about what you want in a boyfriend or a prospective husband. And number 3, if you've tried one thing on my list and it didn't work, just keep trying other things, all right? Well, it's certainly been wonderful spending time with you today. I just love it. I absolutely love it. If you enjoy these podcasts, please share the link with your friends and subscribe. Tell more people about our podcast, will you? And thank you for sharing tea with me, Dr. C. I'll see you in a few weeks. Bye-bye.